Hey, I'm Amanda from Trifecta Fitness. We're proud to be Clarksville's new Get Fit headquarters. Trifecta Fitness is a state-of-the-art spin and strength training studio. Our spin studio is truly one of a kind in this area, complete with 20 state-of-the-art live fitness bikes and an incredible sound system. Our strength training is done in small groups of 6 or fewer, and all of our strength and spin classes are scalable for every level of experience. Come see us in the heart of Clarksville, just behind MAPCO at the corner of Old Trenton Road and Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. Call us for more info at 931-542-6265 or download our Trifecta Fitness app for a full list of upcoming classes.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Did you serve in the military? If so, you can obtain a free lifetime pass to more than 2,000 federal recreation sites. These sites are located across more than 400 million acres of public lands, including national parks, wildlife refuges, and forests. The lands host activities to fit any lifestyle: hiking, biking, fishing, camping, and much more. Gold Star families are also eligible for these free lifetime passes. Plus, they cover entrance fees for a driver and all passengers in a car, or up to 3 additional adults at sites that charge per person. Obtaining one is easy. Just go to the National Park Service website, nps.gov, or the National Park Service app.
All right. Welcome back.
Misfit Nation, the Misfit Nation Show.
We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their stories to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or an actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and show how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or feel embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you are a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation Show. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app. Also on our YouTube channel at @the_Misfit Nation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date on our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show!
All right. Welcome to our Thursday after dinner show. RA in here tonight due to the AT&T debacle today. He's a victim of the DDoS, and he will not be with us this evening. He is here in spirit, so I will take control of his Thursday night show. He'll be back next Thursday and leading us to victory next Thursday. Again, we are in Indiana for at least this show. Hopefully, this is our last show in Indiana, and we'll be home for our Sunday show. But tonight, we have a good one. He's coming to us live from Orange County, California. He's a motivational speaker. He's an inspiring figure in the realms of addiction recovery, fitness, and mindset. He's struggled with addiction since the age of 12, faced numerous challenges, including multiple stints in rehab. But today he's here with us to share his story and share some of his tips and tricks that have got him out of the black hole, I guess, the abyss, and to where he is now. So without further ado, let's welcome P. Wilson to the show. Welcome, P. Wilson.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. Really do. I like the intro too of all the commercials and all the things you guys are doing. That's great.
Awesome. Thanks, brother. I just gave basically a 2-sentence interview, introduction about you. There's a lot more to you than those two sentences. Let the audience know a little more about you, as far back you want to go to how we got to where we are today.
Okay, so basically growing up, you know, I had a young mom, young parents, really. And my mom had me when she was like 20. My dad was like 23. And my mom was already a victim of domestic violence by the time I was 9 months. And my dad ended up leaving, and I was stuck with my mom and my uncle. And so our house was kind of like the party house because he was like 18, 19 years old. He was only a couple years younger than my mom. So my mom worked a lot. She dealt cards at the casino. My mom was like a really like good looking, like, you know, person, good looking female, you know. So she was always like invited to do all kinds of stuff. She always had like crazy boyfriends, and just started real young, man, real traumatic stuff. Like I said, it was already drinking. You know, my house was a party house. So like I'd get up before everybody else, and I was already drinking like the halfies when I was like 4 years old. Like not every day, but you know, but I had already got hammered, and I remember. And it was like one of the best times I ever had drunk, because 90% of the time of my drinking was pretty bad. So it's just like one of those times that I always remembered. I was like jumping off the dresser, jumping off the bed. I'm doing like having fun, and everything's like a great time, right? And then, you know, you get caught, and then you just, you know, catch a whooping, right? But up until that point, it was great. And you know, so it started real young, man. My uncle, he was a real crazy dude, and you know, he tried committing suicide like 3 or 4 times, like real, like back to back. And like he was just a real wild guy. And you know, kind of find out later on that he actually wanted to kill me at a young age. So it was like this thing that, like, you know, I came out of the womb with the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, and then my uncle wanted to kill me, and then I was already doing drugs and drinking by the age of 12, you know, every day. Not so much alcohol, because it was a little bit harder to get your hands on alcohol, but I was smoking weed every day. And then, you know, that's pretty much how it went. I was already in rehab at 15. I went to Alcoholics Anonymous at 18, back to rehab at 26, and I didn't get sober this time. I've been sober for over like close to like 5.5 years. So it was like 34. So there's a big discrepancy in time of, like, you know, a lot of pain I went through with drugs and alcohol, for sure.
Definitely. Wow. I mean, that's a long road there, and not a road many people admit to growing up in, and coming out of, like you have now with the 5 years of sobriety. Uh, you've also been able to turn that around and be able to teach others how to maybe make their lives better. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best part about it, man. To tell you the truth, like, is just using my story to maybe give somebody else hope, because I was super resilient. I didn't give up, you know. And that's the best thing about my story, is like there was, you know, there was times I could have just gave up. Like anybody in their right mind would have just gave up. You know, it was like, why does this guy keep getting in the ring with Mike Tyson? You know, it's like, you know what I mean? It was
Oh,
like both ways. It was like both ways, though. It was like he kept getting in the ring with Mike Tyson as far as drinking, but he kept getting in the ring with Mike Tyson as far as quitting too. So it was like both sides, you know? So it was like the resiliency in is definitely where the hope comes in, is because it doesn't really matter how far gone you are or how old you are. You can always turn the page the next day. Like, you know, you can. It's just all about what you gear your mind up to do. You know, it's all on what you want and how much you're willing to endure and how much work you're willing to put in and how much pain you're willing to go through, what your threshold for pain is, you know. And like a lot of people's are really low, you know.
right.
So And that's just the
Was there,
truth.
was there a person that was a catalyst to you finding sobriety, or was it just you looking in the mirror and say, "Damn, bro, I got to get out of this"?
Well, I mean, it was a couple instances in my life to where it was just a real sad fact that I had to give it up. And, like one of them at the end, I had went to my mom's to detox for like the fifth time in like 1 year. And it was just this miserable drive. It was a 16-hour drive, and I would drive it in one night, just to
Wow.
get there. And I'd be smoking, 2 packs of cigarettes on the way down there just to kind of to stay awake and just kind of keep my sanity. And, it was just like the last time. It was like the last straw. My daughter lived down there, and she just like looked at me, and she's just like crying. And I'm just like, man, I just can't do this no more. Like this is it. And, a year later after that, I started getting into the fitness thing. And, because I was overweight too. And I traded one addiction for another. I traded food for drugs and alcohol and gambling and all that stuff. So it was like, all right, we'll give up drugs and alcohol, but then we'll just eat whatever we want. And, we'll make these massive bets or whatever to get our adrenaline going, And, so I got into the fitness, and I didn't really know what I was doing. So, I ended up just doing a bunch of cardio, and I ended up losing like close to 80 pounds. And
Wow.
I lift like, lightweight, but I didn't really know how to put on muscle. And it wasn't until I hired a mentor, which I encourage big time. And I hired a guy named Wes Watson. And it was like the best thing I've ever done. It's been like the most invaluable thing that I've done because, it made me invest in myself. It made me dig deep. It made me figure out things about myself that I really didn't like. And I just started one by one. I just started changing it. And I still struggle every day. It's every day is uphill, but for the most part, I've got rid of like all the major vices in my life, but I still struggle with I still struggle with different stuff. I struggle with getting up on time all the time. Like 4 o'clock's like when I wake up, and sometimes I'll wake up at 5:30. Sometimes I'll wake up at 6:30, but it's just like more smaller stuff. But the thing with that stuff is like that stuff will start to add up, and it will eventually, you'll start, going downhill on other stuff though. It'll start destroying your confidence. Cause the whole thing about, the fitness and the mindset and all that stuff is just to build your confidence to a point to where it's like impeccable. It's like impenetrable by somebody else, and what they think of you. Cause, at the end of the day, all that really doesn't matter.
Exactly. And do you think having Wes in your corner, that having basically an accountability partner, not just a mentor, he's an accountability partner now, that pushed you to higher levels? Or do you think that just having him there was that catalyst to help you push yourself forward?
I think Wes is really good because he gives you a lot in his content. And then he is, definitely obtainable. It's, everything costs money, but he is obtainable. He is personable. I just went with him in Miami to one of his masterminds, and he is who he is on his content, and that was a great feeling. And so it definitely pushes you to once you invest in yourself, it definitely holds you accountable. It's not really so much about them, because it starts to hold you accountable. You start holding you accountable. That's what ends up happening. And that's what you want. You don't want to be relying on someone else to get you where you want to go. You only know where you need to go. So you need to fix you. And they're giving you the tools to do that. And that's what you want. You don't want to just be like, oh, he's my accountability buddy, like, no, I'm my accountability buddy, like me and God, like that's where you want to get, is like, it's me and God, and we're going to figure it out, but I have these tools now. I have these ways to exercise, and I have these ways to eat, and I have all these things that can help sharpen my mindset to where, I do have that confidence, and I do, and that once you have the confidence, it starts to bleed out into other parts of your life. And then belief starts to happen. And you're like, whoa, wow, this vision I've had for so long, it can come true. It can happen because I've put so much work in it, and I believe, and that's where you want to get.
Definitely. And you said earlier about the 16-hour ride to get to mom's house and where your daughter is. Do you have a better relationship with your daughter now, and your mom, of course, since you started the new path this last 5 years?
My relationship with my daughter's a lot better. My relationship with my mom's always been a little tumultuous, and the thing is my mom's always struggled with certain things, and it's hard. My mom wants a do-over in her 60s, and it's like, you just don't get a do-over. You just got to do better right now. There is no do-over. And
Right.
and when you want do-overs, there's a lot of resentment built into do-overs. And then, and it comes down to that you don't like yourself all that much. And this is just not a really good spot to be. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happened between my mom and my daughter that's pretty rough. So but yeah, me and my daughter's relationship is a lot better than it's always been all right, but I've always been a good provider. It was just like the emotional side that was really tough for me. It was like, yeah, I can provide this life, but oh, you need like emotional, you need time and emotion. Oh, I can't provide that for you, and that, and that's something I still struggle with to today, but I'm a lot better than I was, 6 years ago, 5.5, 6 years ago, so.
Definitely. I bet she appreciates that too. And I'm sure she looks at you through a lens of, I knew my dad X amount of years ago, and I know him now. And he's a much better human now than he was back then. And I can really appreciate the fact that I can say he's my dad.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's I only had one kid, so to have the relationship that I do have with her is a good thing. It's a great thing. And yeah, I mean, kids are tough. Kids are
Yeah.
tough, but when you add in, the drugs and alcohol and stuff like that, and you start putting your kids second and third and fourth, and then you have to deal with the regret. I mean, you're going to regret some stuff that you did, and it's just inevitable. It's not, you're going to regret some stuff you did, and that's something that you have to live with, and that's something that you have to deal with daily. But those are things that you need to work through because they're going to make you stronger.
Definitely. And what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And you've gone through roller coaster. You've been on that ride, and you've gone through the depths of I guess addiction and all the things that you went through as a youth when you were a child or youth. And then you've grown and learned and learned and learned. And now you have that mindset where I have to keep moving forward. I have to have this positive mindset. I have to have this motivation to make me better, to make others better. And that's where you need to be.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, that's the thing, is you have to stay resilient, because I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything like that. I'm not going to sit here and say that, alcoholism and that stuff's a disease, and I'm not going to say that it's not either, because I'm not a doctor. But I do believe that it is a bunch of bad choices compounded in my experience, 22 years. So if you compound 22 years of bad choices, you're going to be addicted to something, and if you never get to the root problem of what you were doing drugs and alcohol for in the first place, you're going to be in a bad spot. So you have to get to the bottom, however that looks like. Therapy, recovery, but someone's got to help you get through a process of getting to the root of the problem. And once you get through to the root, then you can start, the addiction part will start to relieve itself a little bit, a lot. And then you start adding God in there, and then you move on to like fitness and eating cleaner, and then you start adding all these tools in, and then before you know it, you start thinking, it was not a disease, like I just made a lot of bad choices over 22 years. And of course I'm going to be addicted, and that's my personal opinion, but
Definitely.
I will say this, that because I compounded those 22 years, if I was to drink, like say tomorrow, it would have a lot lasting effect on me than it would maybe somebody that hasn't had that much of a tumultuous history with it. So there is a lot of variables in it. I just think if you replace a lot of those bad habits with good habits, you can get yourself undug. You can. You just have to stay resilient. You can't give up. And you can't die. The thing is nowadays it's really dangerous to use drugs. It wasn't as dangerous for me. It was still dangerous, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot more dangerous nowadays than it's ever been. So you can't give up and you can't die. So that's the only way you're gonna have a chance.
Definitely. Today, me and my team, we were driving back from our mission today, and we're coming down US Highway 50, and we looked off into the front on the right side over an overpass, and there was a person in bad shape sitting on the side there, sitting on the top of a bridge, and looking out of her wits. And not one of us said a bad thing about her. We just said how many bad decisions led to her getting to this bridge right here and where she is right now, and trying to hitchhike off a bridge right now to get to point X. And how many people are like that in our country right now? And like you said, right now is probably the worst time to be addicted to a drug, because there's so many evil things in those drugs right now, like fentanyl and such, that are trying to just kill you as soon as you take more. You see people in San Francisco, I think it is, where they're bending over. They look like zombies after they take their drugs. It's horrible what our country has come to with the drugs, but there are ways to recover. You see the videos where people say, we do recover. We make it out of this. We do recover. And you're right now a poster of we do recover, because you're doing all the right things now. And you just said you reflect on those 22 years of bad decisions. And now you have 5 years of awesome decisions to help you get out of it.
Yeah, and I think it's all correctable. I mean, I was a case where I was like this close from being the person on the street yelling at the street. There was there was a couple moments it could have easily ended up like that. Luckily, I had a loving family that still kept giving me chances. At least my mom, she gave me that one last chance to like, look, you got to get it this time, and she did. And I'll always appreciate her for doing that. But these things are all correctable though. You might only be able to make small dents in it, but any dent's better than nothing, and what's even better is taking the wrong approach to this. Cause I feel like a lot of people take the wrong approach to correcting this epidemic pretty much.
Definitely 100% they take the wrong approach, and they listen to the wrong advice as well. There's other people that are going through the same route they're on, and they take advice from. It's like two criminals taking advice from each other how to not rob that bank when they're trying to rob the bank. When you're in addiction, and you can't rely on that same person to do it. So I think a lot of people have the person this year and the person this year telling them bad things, and they don't know which one to listen to. And sometimes it takes you to just wake up and maybe splash that water in your face, look in the mirror, and say, "Hey, I have a lot to live for. I can do this," and move forward.
Well, I think that, not to say anything bad about politicians or anything like that, but I really feel that, like, to help people in those situations, it's got to be someone that's actually been in that situation. You get what I'm saying? Like, it has to be someone that's been homeless. It's like someone that's like really like been messed up, dude, and just really been broke, and just it can't be some guy that's just like on Capitol Hill, like, yeah, like give me this money and we're gonna fix this. It's gonna be awesome, and like, yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it this time. We're gonna make it happen, and look, I live right next to LA. Not to say our homeless situation is nowhere near LA's, but ours isn't a pretty sight either. But it's nothing like LA, and it's just, I really feel like for those type of situations to get corrected, it has to come from people that have actually really been homeless and really went through stuff like that. It really has to. It has to be from like the inside out. It has to be like an inside out job. Like, can't just be one thing. You have to like completely make over people's lives.
Definitely, and I like that you said that. There's always that talking head, the politician or the news person saying, "We need to stop this. We need to stop this," but they don't do anything really about it. The politician is trying to get the votes. The news person is trying to get the viewers. It's the person on the ground that's going through it, like yourself, that needs someone that also went through it to come out and say, "Hey, look, get off your ass, come with me. I'll help you out. This is what it worked for me. Maybe it'll work for you, or maybe it'll help you in the right path to where you need to go." And that's where we're losing a lot of people by listening to the talking heads and not listening to ground truth.
Yeah, it's that's a in the trenches thing. Like, you have to be in the trenches. Like, some of those people are so far gone, but they're not I don't think they're so far gone that it's not correctable. But I know a guy, he lived on he was actually the limo driver in Die Hard
Oh my God.
with Bruce Willis.
The
And
first one.
he was the limo driver, and he lived on Skid Row for I think like 6 or 7 years. And this guy was gone. You would say he was gone. He was doing all kinds of craziness. I don't really want to put his story out there like that, but he was doing all kinds of craziness, and he made it back. He made it back, and like a lot of people. So you can't say that the worst case scenario is not recoverable, because it is, because this guy, he had no chance. He was on Skid Row for over 5 years. Think about that. Like, I'm talking about Skid Row in LA. So this is like to come off Skid Row after being out there for 5+ years. If he can do it, it can be done. It just depends on what plans are in place and who's quarterback in the play, you know? Pretty
Who's in
much.
charge at that time. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So, and it's like, do you really want to fix it? I don't know. I have no idea, because ever since I've lived out here, it just keeps getting worse and worse.
And I mean, if the pictures paint the story of what's actually happening, it's horrible out there. I haven't been in California since 2018, I think it was. I was in San Diego by the Gaslight District, and when the sun starts to go down, almost can't just grows up right behind the rich area there, and every block is nothing but tents. And I was like, wow, this is America. And I had been overseas for so long. I said, it can't be that bad in our own country. And it was that bad right behind where I was staying in San Diego. So it's an eye opener to see it. But I know we do, like I said earlier, we do recover. You did recover. People can recover if they're motivated to do it. They have that mindset and resilience to make it through it. And I think you're a testament to that as well, because you admitted yourself 22 years is a long time to be out there. And you made it right now, 5 clean fitness. You're in a motivational speaker. And on your profile, it says hip hop. And P. Wilson's, I guess, your stage name for hip hop. But
Yes, sir.
Do you record, or what are you doing with that?
I do. I just put out a song the other day. It's everywhere. It's called Ice Tea. And I have features with Nocturnal, Cocaine, and Crooked Eye. Hip hop saved my life just as much as fitness did. So, and I have some other viewpoints on some different issues in the world, but I'll leave that for another day. But definitely hip hop has been a huge influence on me since I was like super young. I pretty much started listening to it at like 4 years old. And it kept me it kept me out of a lot of bad situations, to tell you the truth.
Right.
It really did. Kept me out of a lot of racist predicaments. My grandfather wasn't, he was who he was, and he spread that down, and then it just, I was able to avoid that somehow, and I just blocked it all out, and I'm a better person for it, because I've seen what that does to people's lives. It just completely destroys them, just like anything else.
Yeah, it's almost like a virus. Once you get that hate in your blood, it becomes a virus to yourself and to those around you, to kill you and those around you. And I'm glad that hip hop was able to steer you kind of clear of that and help you out. Who's your biggest influence as an artist as far as hip hop?
Tupac, Nipsey Hussle, Jay-Z, E40, 50 Cent. Yeah, those are probably my go-to 5 right there.
So that's a wide band too, different styles, almost all of them different styles. So that's good right there. In the early '90s, I was a DJ in New Jersey. DJ Breeze was my name, and I loved hip hop. I still do now, and my wife is big time in hip hop today. She dressed up with her Run DMC outfit dressed up for the '80s '90s day for school. She had her kangaroo on, chain, her Adidas sweatsuit, and so we still live kind of in the periphery of the lifestyle, just based on where we grew up and how we grew up. So it's something that we enjoy as well. Just like you, it saved you. It saved you from many turn-ins. It also saves many people around the world. I'm around our country. Some people don't want to admit it, but it does.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like anything else, man. You're just gonna have your bad parts. You're gonna have your good parts, and it's just that's the world. You're not gonna get along with everybody that you meet. It's just not gonna happen. You know what I mean? So it's like
100%.
Everything's gonna have its good parts, its bad parts. It's just it's just being human, you know. I think people put too much emphasis on oh, it's bad or it's good, or well, it's both, you know. It's just being human, you know, pretty much. So I think people just need to learn how to be human.
And actually talk to people, and not just listen to what people say about them. Talk to it, like me and you talking to each other right now. If we didn't have this, we would never see each other, but at least we're able to talk to each other now. We're looking at each other, talking to each other. Most people right now, they can't look up from their phone to 3 inches up to see someone walking in front of them. They'll walk right into them and just create more problems. If we can get that 3 inches out and just look and talk to people, I think we can solve a lot of problems.
I think it just takes a lot of people that have been through whatever the issue is. Whatever
Right.
the issue is, they're considered an expert. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, like, if you want to fix something, you have to fix it with somebody that knows what they're dealing with, you know? That's
Yes.
what I that's what I think personally. It's not really anything other than that, really. Like a basketball player can't teach someone how to play football. You know
True.
what I'm saying?
And that's why
It's
most of them
just
are
like
basketball.
he plays basketball. He doesn't play
Right.
football. You know, it's like, how are you gonna teach someone not to be homeless when you've never been homeless? Like,
Right.
but if you've been homeless, you'd be like, oh man, I've been there. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna quarterback this. You're gonna go over here. You're gonna go over there. You're gonna get this bus pass. You're gonna go to this job. You're gonna go over here, pick up this suit. You're gonna pick up this. You're gonna pick up, they're gonna quarterback this whole list of things that you should do if you're coherent enough to go get a job. All right, we're gonna give
Right.
you a motel. You're gonna go over here. You're gonna get a motel voucher so you can take a shower, clean up. Then you're gonna do this. Go over here, hit these 5 job sites, take the bus back over here, stay the night here, and then try and do it again in the morning, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it takes somebody that has actually done the structure it takes to get out of the street.
Yes. I don't know if you've seen the questions popped up on screen there. Jake asked 2 questions. How is California compared to what we hear and see on the news currently? And have you ever run into a guy named Tom McDonald?
Tom McDonald, no, but I live in Orange County, so Orange County is different. Every place is different. Like LA is different, Orange County is different, San Diego is different, the Inland Empire is different, the Bay Area is a lot different. So Orange County, it's just Orange County to me. It's always kind of just been a lot similar, but we have similar problems to LA, but we don't have similar problems, if that makes any sense. And we're right on top of each other, but it's like 2 completely different worlds, really. Once there's like a line, and once you go over it, you're in LA. And then once you go over it the other way, you're in Orange County. So,
And even in LA is so big. There's so many different parts of LA. You can cross from one neighborhood to another, one sub to another, and you're in totally different issues in each area. So it's hard to actually explain if how they compare to each other, I guess.
yeah, I mean, yeah, LA's LA. It's
Yeah.
massive. It's a massive
Monster.
city. You're not gonna know if you don't know LA. You don't know where you're at ever. Unless you're in Hollywood, and then you'll have kind of like the Studio City, Hollywood area, Sunset Boulevard. You'll have an idea, but once you venture out past that area, yeah, you're not. If you don't know LA, you're not gonna know where you're at all. It's all gonna look the same before you know it. You're gonna be somewhere you don't want to be.
I think you can put any city in front of that sentence and say the same thing: New York City, San Fran, Detroit, Houston, Dallas, and you'll be in the same situation.
Oh, for sure, for sure. 100%. But between Orange County and LA, I think there's 14 million people.
Jesus Christmas. That's a lot of folk.
It's a big difference, because I just got back from Miami and I thought Miami was big. No. It's it's still a decent sized city, don't get me wrong, but it's nothing like out here. This is the concrete jungle. Literally.
Definitely. And it's
There's
something that people
there is nothing like Southern California.
Most people know LA from Ice Cube movies, from Friday or Boys in the Hood and stuff like that. And they see one block, really. It's really one block of the neighborhood that they're showing. And it spreads out a lot more, and it's intense out there.
Oh, it's massive. And it's all flat. It's massive. Like, I mean, literally, there's nothing like Southern California. I mean, there's nothing like it. I mean, you have San Diego has close to 5 million. Orange County has close to 5 million. LA County's probably upwards of like close to like 11 million. And then you have the Inland Empire that's probably like 3 or 4 million. So that's all right here. You got like 25, 30 million people living on top of each other. It's massive.
It gets intense, I'm sure.
It's massive. So
where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do I see myself in 5 years? Man, I mean, helping as many people as possible on the biggest scale possible. Either, using music as a vessel, or coaching as a vessel, motivational speaking as a vessel, movies as a vessel. I don't know, man. I'm gonna throw darts and I'm gonna figure out what hits, man. And I've put my 10,000 hours in music. I feel I've been writing rap since I was like 17, and so I'm thinking music's gonna get me there. But we'll see, man. All I know is I'm not gonna give up. And at the end of the day, if you don't give up, you can never lose. So, but my end goal is to be able to help as many people as possible in various issues, and kind of show how you can do it, and maybe people could take the blueprint that I got designed in my head and manufacture that in their city. And I mean, for me, I'm gonna do it where I'm from, because this is where I live. But maybe someone can take my blueprint if it ends up being successful, or when it becomes successful, and they can do it in their city and then do it in another city, and they can start correcting some of these problems, Yeah. You can find me on Spotify.
Okay, Spotify. It's under P. Wilson.
P. Wilson Ice-T.
P. Wilson Ice-T. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
And part of my family, a podcast, Homefront Sit Rep podcast, hosted by David Willis, said, "Never give up is the key."
Yeah, you can't give up, man. You give up, not only you're gonna lose, but one day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna look where you could have been, or and it's just, I gave up on sports when I was young, man, and I always regretted it. And I let certain things in my life, like teachers, tell me I was a bad kid and all this stuff, and I listened to it. And I was like, oh, maybe I am a bad kid. So what do bad kids do? They usually hang out in the streets. So that's what I'm going to go do. And I'm going to start doing this, and I'm going to start doing that. And then it just started snowballing, and I gave up on it. And I let one person tell me I let one person affect me. And I gave up on the most meaningful things in my life, was basketball, baseball, and football, and especially basketball. And just like that, it was gone.
Wow.
And that's why nowadays I'm so resilient, because that had such a big effect on me then to give up something that I loved that quick that I can't ever do that again.
Definitely. If you can give advice to the audience here, our audience is based up. It's a wide variety of people in our audience. We have a lot of veteran first responders, a lot of guys and gals that just get after it every day. 3 dudes in Nepal, actually 5 guys in Nepal at the base of Mount Everest that listen to our show. What advice would you give them to keep on keeping on?
I mean, it's a war out there, man. It's a war, but you're gonna need guys like us to help you fight the war in the streets, man. I'm telling you, like, especially when it comes to drug addiction, because the way that people have approached this problem ain't the right way.
Right.
It ain't the right way. And, you know, for me, it's just being the best human possible, you know, whatever that looks like to you. I would just be the best human possible, because at the end of the day, you know, you can't drown unless you let water in the boat, you know? So we're all human, you know, we all come from different walks of life, and just can't let water in the boat, man. And you start letting things bleed into your life that don't make sense. And, you know, you start having hate in your heart and different things like that. And it's going to be real challenging trying to have that human attachment, you know.
Definitely.
The human element, sorry.
Great advice for the audience right there. How can people get in contact with you if they want to maybe just chat with you, have you on their show, or maybe learn more about you?
Right now I'm just on Instagram, so it's askp.wilson. Again, that's askp.wilson. And I'm hoping to be on more platforms, but right now I'm just trying to get really good at one. And I'll have YouTube up here pretty soon. And yeah, just working a lot of stuff behind the scenes with people that know what they're doing as far as social media goes. So, but right now that's where you can reach me. That's where a lot of my content's at. And, you know, I share a lot of stuff that I've been through, and stuff that I'm doing and stuff I got coming up. And just my daily routine is a big one. You know, if you don't have a daily routine, you know, I get up, read books, you know, eat good food, and work out. And that's pretty much my foundation to start off a good day. So if you start doing that, you'll start winning.
Awesome. Brother, thanks for sharing your story with us tonight. Your journey is amazing. I can't wait to see where you are in 5 years. And if you ever think about making an intro song for the Misfit Nation, we'll gladly take it.
For sure, man.
Got here the whole time. We'll give you some more props every time we start the show.
Oh, man, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me, man. Thank you, Jack.
Definitely, brother.
Yeah.
Everyone back, let us know when you hit it big, and don't forget us. Come back and talk to us.
No, I won't, man. I won't. This has been great. I'm just going to keep grinding. Awesome, you guys keep grinding too. All right.
Yeah. You have a good night, brother.
All right, man. Bye.
This is a message from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Got a question about your VA benefits, healthcare, or eligibility? Go to va.gov, where you can access a new interactive chatbot to ask questions 24/7. One can still browse va.gov for information, but you can now ask specific questions to the chatbot, like what's the PACT Act? How do I apply for disability benefits? What's my claim status? You can access the new feature through va.gov's Contact Us page. Then click on the Start Chat button. The chatbot will continue to improve veterans' access to information about the benefits and services they've earned. This is one way VA is offering seamless and secure access to its online resources.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation Show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling because we are
Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.